Once upon a time, in a dense and beautiful forest, there lived a deer named Jacinto. Jacinto lived happily with his family, enjoying sunny days and gentle breezes and the abundance of nature. He was a dedicated leader, protector, and provider, ensuring food and safety for everyone. These responsibilities not only filled him with pride, but also gave him a profound sense of purpose over the years. Throughout the seasons, Jacinto proved to be a strong and courageous deer. His wisdom and bravery guided his family through the challenges of the forest. However, the inexorable passage of time spared no one, not even Jacinto. Like the leaves of the trees changing color and falling with the arrival of autumn, Jacinto began to feel the signs of aging in his own body. Ancient stories echoed through the forest as the ground was covered with a carpet of fallen leaves. Jacinto moved forward with steady steps, yet his heart was heavy with doubts and sorrows. He remembered with nostalgia the days when his vigor and energy were a source of pride. Now, the reality of his current fragility hit him relentlessly on the mornings in the clearing. Forests, once full of promises of adventures and challenges, now seemed particularly difficult. Jacinto watched his family with eyes full of love and concern. His eldest son, a strong and lively stag, took on more responsibilities while guiding the younger ones to where the pastures were greener. Jacinto protected them from the dangers of the forest. Though he felt proud of his son, he also felt a sense of emptiness. The feeling of being replaced caused him a pain that couldn't be expressed. One afternoon, as the sun set and the sky was painted with warm colors, Jacinto sat under the shade of a large oak tree and watched his family move with natural harmony, in a dance of cooperation and mutual care. But he felt more like a spectator than a participant. As each day passed, his fear of becoming a burden grew. The idea of falling seriously ill and being unable to care for himself haunted him. Determined not to be a burden, that night, Jacinto made a difficult decision. With a heavy heart, he approached his family. "I need some time for myself," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "I'm feeling tired and need some fresh air to unwind." "Won't be long, just a few days." His words were a veil to conceal his true intentions. In reality, Jacinto planned to step away forever. He didn't want his family to see him weaken. He didn't want them to worry about him, freeing them from a potential burden. Tears filled his eyes as he said goodbye, but he tried to hide them. He didn't want his loved ones to know how painful it was. This decision, made at dawn, led Jacinto deeper into the forest. With each step that took him away from his home and loved ones, the vastness of the forest seemed to absorb his pain, but also offered him a new perspective. Jacinto walked with hope of finding a place where he could be alone, where his weakened state would not be a problem for anyone but himself. After several days of walking, memories of his family haunted him incessantly. Jacinto arrived at an unfamiliar clearing. Here, the air was fresh and the atmosphere tranquil, perfect for the solitude he sought. He lay beneath a tree, his mind filled with somber thoughts. He had made the right decision. He was truly doing what was best for his family. Lost in thought, he heard a buzz of activity nearby. Looking up, he saw a group of ants working in organized lines, carrying small crumbs and creating a scene of collaboration and effort that reminded him of his own family. However, something different caught his attention among the worker ants, an elderly ant not participating in the work. This intrigued Jacinto. He approached a young, strong ant leading the line. "Excuse me," Jacinto said softly. "I noticed that old ant over there isn't working hard." The young ant looked up, recognizing genuine curiosity in Jacinto's eyes, and responded respectfully. "The old ant is our father. When he was young, he worked hard for us, provided us with food, and protected us. Now it's our turn to take care of him. He has done so much for us, and even though he can't work, his presence is invaluable." The ant's words resonated in Jacinto's mind. "They don't see it as a burden?" he asked, somewhat incredulously. "His experience is priceless to us." This encounter with the ants caused Jacinto to reconsider his situation. Jacinto walked through the forest, his slow and thoughtful pace echoing among the tall trees. As he continued on his way, Jacinto's thoughts began to transform. He realized, perhaps for the first time, that his presence in that vast and ancient place had value, even in his old age. The forest whispered teachings he still needed to learn, and Jacinto felt ready for a journey that was not just physical, but an inner quest for a deeper understanding of himself and the courage that comes with age. After the revealing encounter with the ants, Jacinto ventured further into the forest. Day after day, his tired body contrasted with a mind now more awake than ever, reflecting on the words of the young ones who had inspired him. Each step took him not only farther from his family, but also deeper into himself, exploring his own depths. On a peaceful afternoon, as the sun set and shadows lengthened, Jacinto reached a serene little stream. The gentle murmur of the water soothed his weary soul, and he decided to rest for a while. Jacinto drank from the cool stream and then lay down in the welcoming shade of a weeping willow, lost in thought. Suddenly, a soft sound in the undergrowth caught his attention. Raising his head, he saw an old hare slowly approaching the stream. Despite its age, its eyes shone with an unusual energy. Jacinto watched with curiosity as the hare stopped to drink water. "Hello, Jacinto," greeted gently. "I'm Jacinto," he replied. The hare responded in a calm voice, "I'm on a journey in search of something." "Jacinto, what are you looking for?" Jacinto sighed, feeling the need to share his concerns. "I don't want to be a burden to my family. I've distanced myself from them because I'm no longer as strong as before, and I'm afraid that if I fall ill, I'll only be a burden to them." Margarita, the hare, looked at him with compassion. "I understand your fears, Jacinto. Let me tell you a story. When I was young, I was strong and agile. I could leap great distances and find the best food for my family. But over time, my body weakened. I worried about the same thing as you. I didn't want to be a burden. However, my family showed me that a person's worth is not just in their physical strength." She continued, her eyes remembering times past. "One day, our family faced a great danger. A snake was approaching our home. Although I couldn't fight physically, I remembered what an old friend had taught me. Knowledge and experience are powerful weapons. I used my knowledge of the terrain and my years of experience to guide our family to a safe place. The snake lost track of us, and we were saved." Jacinto looked attentively at Margarita, letting her words echo in his mind. Just like the forest ecosystems, each member had a unique role that evolved over time. The older trees sheltered the younger ones from wind and rain. Similarly, we, the older trees, should be guides and shelters for our families. Silent, Jacinto pondered over everything Margarita had told him. Her words were like a balm to his soul, healing the wounds of his doubts and fears. "Jacinto," Margarita said softly, "your worth is not merely measured by your physical ability to protect yourself or find food. True value lies in the love you have given, the lessons you have taught, and the constant presence you have been for your family. Do not distance yourself out of fear of becoming a burden. Face your old age with dignity and wisdom, and you will see how your family will thrive and appreciate you even more." Jacinto felt tears in his eyes, not of sadness but of deep gratitude and understanding. Margarita was right. He had been so worried about not being a burden that he had forgotten the love and reciprocity his family felt for him. Jacinto left the stream with a new perspective, but he needed time to deeply reflect on what Margarita had told him while he was there. He moved slowly through the forest, his thoughts wandering between memories and the new ideas the old hare had given him. Each step he took echoed in his mind, remembering the days when he ran freely through the forest, gathering fruits and protecting his family from dangers. In those days, he felt invincible, a pillar of strength for his pack. Now, with the passing of time, his body had changed. The physical strength he once possessed had slowly faded, but that didn't mean he had lost courage as he walked. Jacinto found a clearing in the forest where he decided to rest for a while. He lay down on the soft grass, gazing up at the sky. The clouds moved slowly as if reflecting his thoughts. Admitting the truth, the need for help, was not a weakness, but a sign of courage and humility. Jacinto closed his eyes and let his mind wander. He delved into deeper reflection, thinking about his family, children. He pictured their faces, young, strong, full of energy and vitality. He thought about how he had raised them, teaching them to survive in the forest, to be brave and resilient. He realized that now was the time to let them take on more responsibility. Renewed, Jacinto decided it was time to return to his family. He rose from the clearing, feeling a new energy in his body. With every step toward home, he felt more secure, more determined. As he walked, Margarita's words continued to resonate in his mind. True love knows no burdens, only opportunities to show how much we care for each other. Jacinto understood that his family didn't see him as a burden, but rather as an essential part of their lives, someone they deeply loved. The forest, once a refuge, now seemed welcoming and full of life. The rustling of leaves under his paws reminded him that this was his home, and this forest would always be his home. Moving forward despite the challenges ahead, Jacinto came across a group of squirrels working together to gather nuts. He watched as they scurried back and forth, coordinating their efforts with admirable precision. Seeing how they had worked together in the past to overcome difficult times made Jacinto realize that, although each had their own burdens, teamwork and mutual support were essential for the community's well-being. Further along, Jacinto encountered a family of birds teaching their fledglings to fly. He observed the parents closely, stopping to watch. He felt a deep connection with the scene, remembering when his own children were small and how he had been there to guide and protect them. Like the bird parents, he understood that now he needed to allow his children to face their own challenges, knowing that his role as guide and protector had not ended, simply evolved as his journey continued. Jacinto came across a mother fox caring for her cubs. Despite her evident tiredness, the mother fox tended to her little ones with a gaze filled with love and determination. Jacinto felt a wave of empathy for her. He understood that as parents, we always want to protect our children, but we must also allow them to grow and learn on their own. It's the natural cycle of things. He passed by a stream and stopped to drink fresh water. As he did so, he looked at his own reflection in the water and noticed how his fur had changed. He had some gray hairs now, and his eyes showed the depth of the experiences he had lived. Yet in those eyes, he also saw the strength and wisdom he had gained over time. Jacinto continued his journey, feeling that each step brought him closer, not only physically to his home, but also emotionally. He was at peace with himself, accepting his age and his role in the family. Finally, Jacinto saw the edge of the forest surrounding his home. His heart was filled with anticipation and a slight nervousness. He wondered how his family would react upon seeing him return, and if they would be able to understand the lessons he had learned during his absence. As he approached, he spotted his children in the distance, busy with their daily activities. But when they noticed his presence, their faces lit up with surprise and joy. Jacinto felt a wave of emotion as he realized how much they had grown and how they had taken on their roles with responsibility and courage. He ran towards them, and one of his children exclaimed, "Dad, you're back." These words were spoken with a mix of relief and happiness. Jacinto nodded, tears streaming down his face. In that moment, as he embraced his son and looked at the smiling faces of his family, Jacinto understood that his worth lay not only in the physical actions he could perform, but in the love and wisdom he could offer. With a heart full of love and gratitude, Jacinto decided that he would never again feel like a burden, but rather a blessing to those he loved. The forest, once a refuge, became a home where he could provide emotional support and share his experiences and wisdom. His youth stories became a treasure for his grandchildren, who delighted in adventures and valuable lessons. Jacinto learned to accept his family's help without feeling like a burden, understanding mutual love and care. In moments of vulnerability, he found a new strength, rooted not only in physical prowess, but in unconditional love and wisdom accumulated over the years. Jacinto returned to where he belonged, not just physically, but emotionally. He learned that old age was not a phase of decline, but an opportunity to offer a new kind of strength to his family. Over time, Jacinto became a pillar of wisdom and love for his family. His story of return and reflection became a legend in the forest, inspiring other creatures to cherish each stage of life and understand that in the heart of a family, no one is a burden, rather a blessing. Jacinto lived his days with renewed peace and joy, knowing that his value lay not only in what he could do, but in the love he could give and receive. Like Jacinto, we explore the challenges and concerns that arise with the passage of time, discovering together the true meaning of old age and the importance of family in our life journey. For those who have felt burdened by the idea of growing old and becoming a burden to their loved ones, this story offers a ray of hope and renewal. It reminds us that age is just a number, and that true wealth lies in the love and connection we share with our loved one. Jacinto ventured into the forest in search of answers. He found more than just wisdom in the creatures he encountered along the way. Independence and strength come from acceptance in all phases of life. He learned that old age is not a bleak destination, but rather a new phase full of opportunities to share experiences and pass on knowledge to younger generations. In all its forms, whether young or old, there is its own value and unique beauty. May this story serve as a reminder that we are never alone in our journey through life, and that there is always love and support waiting at home. We should embrace each moment with gratitude and joy, finding comfort in the knowledge that we are loved beyond our limitations and fears. And so, with a heart full of hope and a renewed spirit, we leave this story behind, knowing that its message will live on in our hearts long after the words fade away. Because ultimately, what truly matters are not the wrinkles on our face or the white hairs, but the love we share and the legacy we leave future generations. If this story touched your heart and provided you with inspiration, I invite you to share this message with your loved ones and those who may need it. Don't forget to like and share so that this message can reach more people. And if you wish to continue receiving inspiring and reflective content, I invite you to subscribe to our channel to stay updated on our upcoming stories and reflections. I look forward to seeing you in our next adventure together soon.